Mm. Mm.
Hello and welcome back to the Atma MD. I am Eliza, the social media manager for Atma Clinic and the Atma MD. I work here at the Atma Clinic with Dr. Sandal and our integrative therapist, David Lovely.
Hello, beautiful people.
You guys have been loving David's reactions, as have I. They're always so good, always so heartfelt. We all can't get enough of David around here, and I know you guys want some more reactions from us as well. So I've been trying to talk David into doing the trilogy for a while. Obviously, he doesn't know anything about it. I've been a little bit hesitant just because of how dark it is, but just like all of Ren's music, there's kind of a story on the other side of it. There are takeaways, so we're excited to react to these and see what you guys think.
Yeah, see if I can offer or present any insight or perspective that can be helpful.
Yeah. So as dark as it is, we're hoping that there is a therapeutic benefit of us reacting to this. So.
And too, I mean, even in darkness, I mean, there are elements of light within that yes, as we come through that, there is benefit, there is medicine, there is hope. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's that pendulum of light and dark. So we are excited. We are going to be sharing some headphones, one in each of our ears. So, okay, so part one, here we go.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny walked alone, she was dragging her feet. She was heading back home to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, because she walked it about 1,000 times before she wanted to escape. Can you blame? Well, on the very same night, in a different place, there walked this hooded young youth by the name of James. He was 14 years old and out of his brain, he'd been smoking ganja with the boys. James, he grew up to be a kid of the street. His mates called him Screech, he was quick on his feet. He was a liar, a thief, at 14 years old, the devil had set his sights on his soul. As Jenny walked home all alone, she felt scared. Usually she was alright, but it was like there was something in the air. A divine intervention telling her to beware, maybe intuition bugging her and making her so scared. Sirens sound in the distance at the beat of Jenny's feet. A symphony of the night that echoes crime on London streets. Jenny turns a corner, their eyes they meet. Up or go Jenny, a boy named Screech. Give me all your money, bitch, give it to me. If you cooperate, then you'll soon be free. I want your purse, your phone, don't fucking look at me. I mean it, bitch, are you listening to me? Jenny freezes statue like a lady shakes stalactite. Feel like liquid nitrogen in the dark night. She tried to find strength to move, but stayed as still as a statue in high-heeled shoes. What the hell you playing at? You playing games with me? I swear to fucking God, I'll slice the rosy off your cheeks. You think I don't mean it, girl? You don't know me. The last thing you see will be a boy code. Screech reached with the sheath of the blade, with the teeth that could bite through steel and slice concrete, and he swung possessed with the devil in his chest, and the statue she was turned to butter in her breath.
And he's got it!
Yeah, boy! Let him cook! Let him...
But that's okay. Any thoughts so far
I mean, it's
before we carry on?
yeah, the lead in. At least listening to it, like I can see what's coming.
Yeah.
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 And probably sadly for many people, not that uncommon,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I hadn't caught the first time that I watched it that he was 14.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a 14-year-old, I mean, to be running the streets like that
And yeah, in that frame of mind and
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
It was a quiet, dark night in an empty street somewhere in London City. Jenny lay still on the cold concrete. She's found somewhere to sleep. Well, she knew this town, she knew this floor, 'cause she'd walked it about 1,000 times before. I guess that she escaped. It's such a shame. Our story, it starts right at the end. At the life of poor Jenny, clocked out like Big Ben. Dear Screech, dear boy, where did he go? He melted into the black night just like snow. Patrick, man, let me in, please open the door. I think I fucked up, Patrick, really fucked up, man, I'm not sure. I got crazy, left this lady lying still on the floor. I think I killed her, Patrick, come on, man, I can't knock no more. But Screech kept on knocking till his knuckles became sore. But there's no sign of Patrick down at number 54. No refuge for our villain, for the bitter hands of fate, with something far more sinister in mind that does away. Hey, babe, are you in? No, nothing really, I'm just a bit tired, listen. Can I swing around yours for a few moments? I just really miss you, babe. What the fuck do you mean you're busy? You fucking bitch, for fuck's sakes! Siren sounds approaching like a banshee in the night. The shrill cry of justice cutting like the sharpest knife. But Screech was never one to run, not one to miss a fight. One hand upon his blade, he turned to face the blue lights. Come on then, you fucking cunts, let's fucking have you then. I am Screech, I'm the boss, I'm the ender of men. You think that uniform you're wearing means that you own these streets? These are my fucking streets, and they call me fucking Screech. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3", working London on the night shift. What he didn't think he'd see was a boy running at him like an animal possessed. With no time to hesitate, he fired 4 bullets at Screech's chest.
This game, you're not ready for it.
And he's a storyteller.
Absolutely.
And like a very detailed, and I mean, the way he depictions, even in the videography, I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
That right there, I mean, obviously, while it's really sad, like that, the guitar and the gunshots and the camera work is just, I mean, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm like, the talent is, and all of his music is very experiential.
Yeah.
Puts you right in the...
You know, and it leads me back to the first video that I did. And I was like, I'm going to close my eyes and experience. And some of the feedback was, you can't. You have to see. And I get it now. I'm experiencing Ren's work. it is very much an experience. It's a visual as well as an auditory and an emotional experience. And, yeah, wow, like, I mean, I have no idea what this story and what this trilogy is about. And so seeing like this initial tale kind of unfold, both of them dying, yeah, it's pretty dark. It's pretty heavy.
It is pretty dark and heavy.
Right. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, if you haven't seen David's reaction to Hiren yet, that was my introduction to David of Hiren, so go check that out.
Yeah.
He explains in the video that closing his eyes to feel the music is how he feels it and interprets it, and that's totally okay, but there is, a lot to Ren's music. It is experiential, so.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for
Yep.
more? Okay.
Story it ends
It's dark.
right at the start. Young Screech and poor Jenny lying one street apart. An officer shaken by the boy that he claimed. 2 bodies lay lifeless, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame.
Okay, I didn't realize these were playing back to back, so I apologize. I didn't separate them, but there's Jenny's tale, Screech's tale. This song is Violet's tale.
Okay. Something that stands out to me just in the last little bit, in this depiction is, violence in general and just senseless violence and how much of that there is and the impact that has on not only the victim, as well as the perpetrator, but then the ripple effect of community.
Yeah, like the officer that had to do that and then has to live with that forever also. It does. It affects so many more people than it needs to.
Yeah. And it tugs at a deeper heartstring for me, not just this tale, but just in the broader spectrum of humanity and the violence that we perpetuate on each other physically, also emotionally, mentally, and then environmentally. I mean, so many pieces, and it's like, just.
Yeah, it brings me to question, there's light and there's dark, but there can be dark without violence, right? And it just, like, what good ever does come from violence?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. And there's so much of it unnecessary, and it paints him to be pretty horrible to do that to someone. And for what, money.
Yeah. And for me, the standpoint or, the lens that I try to look at any of these things, but also in the work that I do, is what happened.
What happened to make him the way that he is?
What happened in your experiences that opened that door to greater darkness and then to violence. Yeah, and not necessarily wanting to understand that, but to highlight that, not for perspective, not to excuse things, but just, how can we look at that? And then on a more wide scale, how can we address those needs collectively so that.
And ahead of time, because he was only 14. That's scary.
I can only imagine, what would have taken place or what did take place for someone to then enter into that. And many of you don't know my background or really a whole lot about me. But I worked many years in the prison systems here in Kansas, doing drug and alcohol work and working with individuals who came up in probably similar situations. And, that work taught me incredible compassion about life and about people and their situations and circumstances that, they're not bad people. I don't believe that people are inherently bad. I think causes and conditions and situations and environments and so many other factors play a toll on that. And, and so I operate from that lens, especially when I watch something like this. That's where my heart goes. It's like, man, what happened? And then also forward to like, what's that going to be like for said families and communities and other individuals? And it's just a really detrimental ripple effect that we have when we harm another individual or even harm ourselves. So, yeah.
Absolutely. It seems like it's their normal.
Yeah, that's maybe all they've known.
Right. Correct. Okay, so this is the final one.
Okay.
Violet's tale.
Violet.
I just have to pause and say, like, on Ren's part, how cool it is to see him beat all these different characters and snap from one to the other. And not only is he playing the music and singing the music, and he's acting, he's emotionally, he's creating a visceral response from people. Crazy.
London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. Rhythmic beats and bloodstains, she saw a lady weep. She's tired and frail. To set the scene, we must rewind the hands of time for Violet's tale. Violet was a silent girl, grew up with violent starts. Her mother was a drinker and her father was a bastard. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. I'll spare you of the things he did, I'm sure her mother knew. Violet was a silent girl, she moved out at 16. A semi-detached council flat, paid for by a welfare scheme. Packing shelves at Tesco, stacking jars like pickled bricks. She met a boy named Stevie and he was a little prick. Violet was a silent girl and Violet she fell fast. See, Stevie was a wrong un, but he sure knew how to charm her. Every night he took her tie but never left the room. History repeats itself, he'd paint her black and blue and dark. She never stood a chance. The devil comes to dance. Violet, why are you always so quiet? On her bedroom door and he's irate. He's been drinking and smoking, he's up late. And he stands by her bedside, she shakes, but her eyes stay shut. You fucking slut, I know you're up. And he pinches her eyelids and folds them up. Violet, Why you lying to me, Violet? She stays silent, things turn violent. That's the sound of his fists when they fall like a crashing pilot. Hit like hailstones, one to the collarbone, full force, full blown, blood's black bone, crack, knick, knack, paddy whack, one to the jaw when the tooth spat, detached, fist connects and disconnects a bone. A quick deflect to misdirect the blow, but nonetheless his punches met her throat. Such a mess he's left her bruised and broke. Violet, why you always so silent, Violet? Why you such a little liar, Violet? Do you think I want to do this, Violet? In character, she stays silent. Well, say something, Violet. Silence. Fucking say something, Violet. Silence. Wait. Say something, Violet. Not one word. She stays quiet. London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington is fighting just to stay alive. The doctor, in a state of shock, saw something here so very wrong. See, Violet, she was pregnant. Poor Violet, she was 9 months gone. Turning to the doctor, Violet broke her silence and she cried, if I'm to die right here tonight, please let my baby stay alive. The doctor soon regained composure, called the surgeon to come in. As Violet's world turned to black, the curtains closed, the lights went dim. In London City, far from pretty, 2005. A lady down in Paddington just lost the fight to stay alive. A tragedy or a miracle, it happened on these very streets. Two twins aligned side by side. A girl named Jenny and a boy named Screech.
Oh.
You were ahead of the game. You it's a tough one. Tough one to watch.
Wow, yeah.
But just like you were saying, you never know what someone's come from or what they're going through.
No.
It's like it started with Violet, and actually it started before Violet. It talks about how her parents, she didn't have a good childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so she ended up with some crap guy.
Yeah.
And then it just
Generational trauma. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah, that was heavy, sad. Yeah.
Very heavy and sad. Yeah, that's a tough one.
But it's, I mean, also, you know, in a way, bringing awareness,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And highlighting that. At least I can, that's a lens I can look through and see, him portraying this.
For sure. Yeah, I
Right.
think, yeah.
But it's, yeah, I mean, it does. It tugs at a lot of my heartstrings because, I mean, life is so precious. And those two really didn't have
They didn't even have a chance.
Yeah.
And did Violet ever have a chance?
Mm-hmm.
So as a therapist and someone who worked in the prison system and probably saw, I would assume, some dark situations like that. I mean, what would be the hope in this situation? What would be a takeaway? I mean, and I'm no professional, but in my head, I'm thinking like, you just have to start breaking those generational curses, those generational curses as they come to you. But if you don't know that that's not normal as a child, so like, when are we starting therapy? When are we intervening? And if that's your normal, those parents obviously aren't worried about putting their kid in therapy.
Sure.
Like, how do we?
Yeah, I mean, those questions, right? They're so big, and how do we have prevention or early intervention?
Where do you even start?
Yeah. Gosh. you know, and in that case, in the case of Jenny, Screech, and Violet, I mean, all three of them perished. Right? All three of them are,
Yeah.
you know, and uh, it's like, how do you heal from that? How does family or how does the community heal from that? And I mean, it's not just a one-way street. I mean,
Yeah.
looking at that kind of violence, um, I mean, yeah, it takes work, but it also takes a community and also like a destigmatization, like of not blaming, not blaming victims. And I say not blaming victims, but the perpetrators or just violence in general. Like I look to it even, I guess, a higher vision. You know, as we see life as separate, as we see individuals as, you know, not a part of us, um, that is a separation in and of itself. And, you know, I look at life and I value life regardless of what that walk of life is and see it as it's nature and I'm a part of nature. Um, and so being able to, how do we heal that? I don't have the answers for that.
Yeah, I mean, and if there was an easy answer, it'd be a lot less violence in the world, right? But like you said, community and all being connected. Just like with everything that we push back on, even here when it comes to medicine, just pushing back against what's mainstream and what's considered normal, because as we've all seen, generational trauma is a thing, and people keep breaking that and doing the work to live more, just more love, like putting more love into it.
Mhm.
Because in these kids' situations, and you know, without placing blame on Violet, because obviously that's how she was raised and that was her normal, and that's just this vicious circle, comes in the community. So at that point, like when you see something, say something is what comes to my mind. Is like, if Screech was in school and I imagine, this is my own imagination, but I imagine he was probably the bad kid in class. He was always getting in trouble. He didn't do his homework. He was out robbing people, and that was just his normal. And if someone in his life just took the time to, and maybe it wouldn't be that easy, but just
Sure.
took the time to see, like, that's a 14-year-old and he has his whole life in front of him. How can I show him, like, that's not normal?
Yeah.
Like, that is not okay, and you deserve better. And who could have stepped in and done that same thing for Violet? So it's like, you really never know.
Mm-hmm.
When you see something, say something, in my opinion. But because maybe if someone would have stepped up, it could have changed things. But
Something else that was highly inspiring, and I think the Ren fans can attest to this. You know, his message in being able to speak about his experiences is very inspiring, and it sheds light on those issues, and then it invites others who may have had similar experiences to then lean in and speak their truth.
exactly.
And we see this with survivors of violence and those that have kind of risen through difficulty, whether that's sexual violence, whether that's physical violence, emotional violence, and done the work to heal themselves and parts of themselves to then speak about what it is and bring greater awareness. And that can be, I think, is a way that we counteract some of this other stuff, is more and more people speaking their truth and standing in their own power and supporting them in that way to be able to do that. Because when I mentioned earlier, like, all life is sacred. Each of us have a reason and a purpose in being here, whatever that is. It's up for us to kind of come into that. But nonetheless, being able to share our experiences, our strength, and our hope helps to shift that overtone window. And so for any of you out there who've listened, who are directly, this has impacted you, or indirectly in some way, I offer my blessings to your journey. And really lift you up for a greater and greater well-being, that maybe you do light a fire that spreads and helps heal this world, because I think we are can all be in agreement that we need greater healing
Yeah, absolutely.
collectively.
Yeah. And that's what this channel is about. I know that like there's reactions and then there's educational content, but the point of us doing these music reactions is to bring awareness to these things. And is some of it dark? Yeah. But is life all rainbows and butterflies? No. And that just it depicts such a good example of it, because that was their normal. Doesn't seem normal to us, but that was their normal. And I think that these conversations, for somebody who has watched this video these videos a million times, and then watched other reaction videos to it, and then now you're watching this reaction video, all these different perspectives are coming in, and people can take many different things from it. But I do think that bringing light to darkness sometimes,
I mean,
you're still bringing light, like you're bringing attention to it. And I really appreciate that about Ren's music and lots of other musicians as well. I've been trying to find some other things for the providers to react to, so we can space out some of the Ren reactions. So if you know of music that kind of touches you in a way of breaking the stigma of normal, I guess, and just kind of pushing back and encouraging true healing, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual,
all of it.
jinx, all of it, then let us know, because that's what the goal of this channel is to start those important conversations. So, and a big thanks to Ren and all of you that have followed us to support us and Ren. Yeah, we appreciate you. And
this is a kind of aside to that. Like, I'm very grateful and humbled by just the response and your encouragement. And so, I return that blessing and beauty back to each of you a million times fold. And we're just, whether it's one video, one conversation, one iteration at a time, just really shifting the paradigm and consciousness to health and well-being and something greater. I feel it in my bones. And so I know it's coming.
Yeah. Me too. And thank you for letting me be part of this reaction. That's fun. I'm usually behind the camera here, but I knew this one was a little dark, so I kind of wanted to walk with you through that. So
appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for watching it with me. And happy healing to all of you out there. And look for that light when it's dark.
Glimmers.
For those of you who don't know what a glimmer is.
Glimmers are those things that we can look for. It's the opposite of kind of those triggers. And so when we see glimmers, we look for them, and we begin to see more and more of them, and it's in the opposite direction. So it's more and more light, more and more hope.
Absolutely.
But they are beacons.
Yes.
Yeah.
So leave us a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And we appreciate you all. We will see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.